welcome to MylarPro.com. Hey, today we got a really short video here to show you how to seal a MylarPro bag on a budget. Hey guys, I know a lot of people don't have a lot of money nowadays, especially who's got an extra $100 or $1,000 to spend on a professional heat vacuum sealer. It's just not necessary. When you use a MylarPro bag and a common household item like a clothes iron, I'll show you how to use this item to seal this bag. You see, on the outside of every bag is a special foil layer, and that allows us to heat the outside of the bag to hundreds of degrees without damaging the outside. However, on the inside, that's where we got our special MylarPro coating. See, Mylar was invented by DuPont. It's an incredible, it's got incredible barrier properties that so good, and such insulating properties that NASA actually started using it in the early days of their space exploration programs, and even to this day they are using it in the space shuttles, and they were using it in Apollo and all that. And basically what they did is they needed a barrier to put inside their spacesuits when the astronauts went into outer space, because outside the environments are super harsh. They got radioactivity going on, you got super hot, super cold, all this type of stuff. You got a vacuum of space, you got a lot of things going on, and they needed that. So in every side, in the current spacesuits, there's actually 7 layers of Mylar. Well, inside ours, we've got one solid layer of MylarPro material. And what's going to happen is when I heat that up, this MylarPro material, which is kind of like a polyester, if you will heat up and it'll melt. It'll melt together and it'll create a super, super, super strong bond that will be both waterproof, airtight, and no water's going to get in, no air's going to get in or out. It's going to be a super strong bag, and this is the same regardless if you're using our 8x8 inch bags or if you're using our 1 gallon size bags, which are 10x16 inch bags. Likewise, we also have our 20x30 inch bags. Again, everything inside each bag is identical, and outside it's just the size. So this is great for a 5 or 6 gallon bucket, or even just putting it outside of it. Likewise, what you're going to want to do is when you do seal these bags, you do want to get rid of the oxygen. Oxygen is one of those things that is an enemy to food, the shelf life of food. Go to our website, MylarPro.com, and you'll see where it'll mention all the different things that are bad for food, like light, moisture, temperature, and oxygen. But what we've got here is also some oxygen absorbers. As an example, we like the brand O-Buster. They're a really good brand. They've been around for 30 plus years. FDA approved. This incredible, really nice brand. And each one, like in this package right here, this has a whole bunch of the 100cc oxygen absorbers. And what a cc means is cubic centimeters. It's basically a math thing. But it just says how much air is going to suck out, or actually how much oxygen is going to suck out. And what we decided and discovered, and when you go to our website and see the chart, you'll see for the same thing that we've seen, is that a 100cc oxygen absorber works perfect for these 8x8 inch bags. Likewise, a 300cc, which is in this blue package, these work perfect for the 10x16s. And then likewise, if you're going to use one of those big 20x30 inch MylarPro bags, we found that the 2000, though it might be a little bit bigger than what you need, works perfect, because it's always better to be safe than sorry. So having a little bit of extra cc capability will really help you out, because it'll suck it all out. And what you'll find is after about 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, if you were to reopen your bag, you would find that all the oxygen has dissipated. What's really nice about our oxygen absorbers is they don't start working within seconds. They start working within about 30 minutes. And after about 30 minutes, they start getting a little bit warm, which tells you that a chemical reaction is going on, right? And what it's doing is it's sucking the oxygen out of the air into there. So what we do want to say is, if you are going to use our oxygen absorbers, to make sure that you plan ahead, and when you open up the bag, that you want to make sure that you've already placed them inside your container and sealed them off. Speaking of sealing, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to use this household iron to seal off our MylarPro bags and do it super cheap. And if you guys don't have one of these irons, guys, everyone's got one. 95% of North America has one of these in their house. So if you don't have one, go to your neighbor. I'm sure they'll loan you one. If your next door neighbor doesn't have it, go to your other side. He'll have one. But anyways, I'll see you in the next segment, and I'll show you how to do everything. Okay, in this next step, what I want to do is I want to show you how simple it is to fill a bucket. First, take an ordinary food grade plastic bucket, and then open up one of your 20 by 30 inch MylarPro bags. As you can see, the foil's on the outside and the Mylar coating's on the inside. So basically just open it up and put it inside that up, down, kind of just spread it out, right? Again, you don't need to worry too much about how all it gets spread out, because I'm going to show you a neat little trick at the end of once we fill up the bag, how to bring up that excess stuff. But right now, just leave it open. If you want, here's a little trick, kind of fold these back, so when you're pouring the material into the bag, it doesn't want to close in on yourself. Okay, so now we're going to pour the food inside. All right, here's another little trick. What I usually do is I have extra plastic buckets. And what I usually do is I fill up the buckets with approximately the amount of food that I'm going to put in it. And then what I do is I take that and I pour it directly into the MylarPro bag. So what I'm going to do right now is just pour in some everyday white rice. This is, just your local white rice. And then we're going to store that inside this bag. So I'm just going to pour it in like so. And when you start getting close to the top, that's when I'll show you this new little trick. Okay, we're about there. You don't want to overfill it. So at this point, as you can see, it's pretty much, here's the top right here, and this is right there. It may not be easy to see in the video, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake it. I'm going to kind of lift it up. And what I'm doing is I'm actually pulling out the slack and the excess that was down at the bottom, because this weight is pushing down and I'm pulling up, and what's going to happen is I'm going to get rid of the excess. I'm not pulling the bag totally out of the thing, I'm just kind of scooting it back and forth. Alright, so now we have the bag pretty flush against the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down here, and I still have probably a good inch or so. I'm going to pour that straight into here. One other thing you want to keep in mind, you want to leave enough excess so that when you do seal the bag, that there's enough room there. It looks like we do have enough there. Also need enough room for the oxygen absorber. So I totally filled that. So now it's perfectly flush, and when I do seal the bag, I will be able to seal this bucket perfectly, and everything will be good. Okay, I'm going to seal a MylarPro bag that has some split peas inside. So basically I take a 2000 oxygen absorber, I place it right on top, and then I squeeze out some of the air. It's not that important that you get it all, because I'll show you how we're going to do next. And then basically I take this edge right here and make sure I hold that. And then I'm going to take a regular 2x4. 2x4, long 2x4, and I'm going to place it on the edge of the bucket. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down my MylarPro bag, and I'm going to take out my common household item. And I'm going to basically seal off this entire thing up to about right here. I'll show you how to do that. Basically just place iron on top of there and stop right about here. Now as you can see, it's already created a seal. Now I'm overdoing it. I'm doing about 2 inches here. You don't need to do that much. All you need is about a ½ an inch or 1/4 inch. But what I'm doing is I'm doing this just to show you if you want to have a super, super tight, watertight, airtight seal, you can do that. The other thing you could do is if you want, you could turn it over and do the other side. It's not necessary, but I'll show you how to do that. And again, don't touch this because it's going to be hot from the iron. But we'll do that again, seal it one more time. The reason why I like the wood is then you can just set the iron right on top of it. And also it's hard. And again, I'm just sealing away. And I'm going to stop right there. Okay, perfect seal. And the reason why I stop right there, if you probably already imagined, is because I want to turn on the vacuum cleaner. Ordinary vacuum cleaner. And what I do is I have one of these attachments on here. And I like this one right here, the, I don't know what you call it, but basically it's going to allow me to suck out this air. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this to the left. And I am going to, again, still really hot, so avoid touching it. But you see, basically, the MylarPro bag is sealed all the way up to that part right there. And I'm just going to put this inside here. I'll remove this so you can see what happens to this bag. But as I just place it right here, I just kind of snugly create a little bit of a you know, seal, if you will. And I'm going to turn on the vacuum cleaner. See that? I just started sucking up the excess. Okay, now I'm going to put this back on top of here. And then I'm just going to seal it with my hand. Keep it tight. And then we're going to iron it back. Okay, it's not, you know, super strong vacuum seal, but as you saw, the air came out of here. And what that does is it just allows you to now close this. Now, here's the thing that I use. Let me find the lid. I use these special, I don't know if you can see these little jagged edges on the side. This is a special bucket, and it's got a special lid. It's got a gasket inside. And what it allows me to do is, instead of just pushing on and using my fingers to close it, I just put it on there, I just turn to the right. And then you're going to start hearing a clacking sound. You hear that? That basically is grabbing into those jagged edges. And what it does is allows it for a really tight seal. You can also accomplish that with any regular bucket if you buy a gamma lid. You can usually find those, or you can just use any type of bucket. But the reason why we do this 3 combinations is, number 1, we're using a MylarPro bag that's going to keep out the light, oxygen, and moisture. You put in an oxygen absorber to remove the remaining oxygen that was inside. And then the reason why you want to use a MylarPro bag is, number 1, also keep out the critters, you know, insects, mice, rats. But if you left the MylarPro bag out in the garage, unprotected, not in one of these plastic bags, you know, over time, with strong enough teeth, a rat or mouse or some type of critter like that could probably get through it. It's tough because the MylarPro is super strong. But if they did get through, you know, they would be able to eat your food. Whereas if you use a plastic bucket, it's much harder for them to get through the plastic and then through the MylarPro seal. So basically, this food right here, these peas are going to last me at least, you know, 30 years, maybe 40. I'll probably rotate my food, and usually use it about every 10 years. We go into the food and we use it, and then we restore it next. But if I ever needed to, shoot, I could go over 40 years with this thing and still have nice split pea soup. The thing I like about split pea soup is that if water was ever rare, you know, during an outage of some sort, it does not take a lot of water, it does not take a lot of heat to create a nice split pea soup. So that's one of the reasons why I store split pea. I also like storing rice and lentils, wheat, all those type of grains that do not require much water. And there you have it. That is how you seal a MylarPro bag on a budget.